So today I was doing a bunch of workouts and I put this roast, every once in a while I just crave a roast. I grew up having a lot of roasts. I had to make a lot of roasts when I had a family, and I just like maybe every 6 months or so. I don't want them all the time, but just when I'm having a craving. So this is just a roast that I took out of the freezer this morning. I like to just keep them in my freezer. In a perfect world, you should take it out a day before or so, marinate it and put it in a baggie and put all these seasonings on, and that's usually what I do. But today I just barely took it out. Like I said, you can stick it, you can do this even if you don't marinate it. So like today I'm doing it without marinating it for a couple of days. It's still a little bit frozen, which is okay because you just slow cook it about 300 for, you know, a few hours. Just see what kind of, what size you have, and then see how long you need to take. I've been doing it for so long, I just keep it on the low heat and then just like cook it, slow cook it all day. You can also do it in a crock pot. So anyway, I was doing a bunch of videos and then I thought a roast sounds good. So I wanted to show you. So I cut a bunch of holes in it to tenderize it. If you have a tenderizer, you can, and also cut some holes to stick some onions in for flavoring. This is just how I do it. You can do it obviously however you choose. But let's put that aside. Wash my hands. I'm gonna use a different knife. I never put the same knife on my wood cutting board. In fact, I never use, on this wood cutting board, I never cut uncooked meat. It's only for my vegetables. So stick the onions on there. I like a lot of onions for flavoring. Stick them inside the little slats if you wish. And then transfer back over here so you can see. I'm gonna use all these onions for flavoring. Now I'm gonna put some salt. In a perfect world, salt and pepper both sides. But I'm gonna be doing some bone broth with this, so I'm not gonna be salting both sides. Gonna salt the one side. Put your favorite seasonings. Actually, my favorite is Worcester sour sauce. I love it. So put that on over the meat. Salt, pepper. One cannot have enough salt and pepper when it's cooking. I'm loving this right now, and it's a garlic and onion spice blend. So I just slather that on there. So put those back, the ones I just used. I'm loving rosemary and garlic. If you have fresh herbs, of course, put your fresh herbs on it. Whatever you like. You know, that's the beauty. And then some olive oil. Who doesn't love olive oil? It's supposed to be really good for you, so I put it on everything. And then I'm using some bone broth. And I'm gonna stick the bone broth all around the meat so it can just cook in this delicious bone broth. And then I'm gonna put the vegetables in there too so they don't get dried out. So I don't know about you, but if you've ever cooked a roast in the pan and you slow cook it all day. Now these are pre-washed potatoes. I'm just gonna stick these pre-washed potatoes all around the roast. And then I'm gonna get some carrots. Maybe some carrots and celery. And get it to shut. So carrots and celery. Let's move this over. I'll show it to you in just a minute. In the meantime, I'm gonna chop up these carrots. Just get the top level off. Drop them in the mixture. Add the celery, stick it in there. I just get the top layer off, pre-wash them. These ones were pre-washed in my refrigerator already. I just keep the skins on them until I'm ready. Drop the carrots in my mixture, put the celery in there. I might even want a little more celery. I've really been loving celery lately. So I'm going to drop some celery in there, and then I'm going to show you some mushrooms. Put some mushrooms on there. And the reason why I don't do a lot of cooking videos is because I'm not one that just puts all the precise, heat it up this long, put this exact amount. I'm a put everything in there. I've been cooking for so many years, throw it in there, and then I just know when to take it out by the smell. But if you're just starting out, by all means, Google how big your roast is and how long it needs to cook. And whether you want to do it slow all day or whether you just want to cook it fast and be done with it. There's my preheated oven right now. I want you to see how beautiful this is. So I put in the roast, the seasoning, the carrots, the potatoes, the bone broth, celery, carrots, potatoes, onions, mushrooms, bone broth, steak, roast, and I'm going to throw it in the oven just like that. And I'm going to just let the oven do its magic and cook it for, oh, I wanted to finish it off with some truffle sea salt that I'm loving. So top on some sea salt. Do you see how all the vegetables are covered? So they're not going to get all dried out. And then this bone broth is just gonna, and while the roast is cooking, it's just gonna all work together in there and be beautiful. So we open up the oven, and then you can cover it if you want. I'm not gonna cover it. I'm just gonna stick it in the oven. And it's the afternoon. It'll be ready by dinner time. According to how tender you like your roast, I like to leave it in like 4 hours on just, slow heat, like 300. If it's a small one like that, but the longer you cook it, the more tender it becomes. Just like crockpot meals, you cook it slow all day long, and by the end of the day, it's just like the chicken's just melting off the bone, that kind of thing. So, thanks for watching. Push the bell button so you know when I upload. So this is how it looks now that it's done. Delicious. The onions cooked on top of the roast with all the seasoning, the bone broth, the potatoes, the carrots, the mushrooms. Look at how juicy it is. I'm gonna plate it and show you how it looks. Okay, and this is how it looks plated. The meat is tender and delicious, and I topped it with that bone broth and the carrots and the celery and the mashed potatoes and put a little butter on there. Delicious. Happy roast night. Oh, should I taste it? Mmm, super good.